How's it going, everybody? It's Prod here, and welcome back to another Dark Souls 3 video. Today I'm making a video talking about the newest patch that is probably out by the time you guys are seeing this video. Similar to the one that I did before the Ring City DLC came out, I wanted to do this because there are some good stuff and some bad stuff that I don't agree with at all. This one's not as long as that one. There's not even close to as many good things in this one. But either way, we're still going to look into it. If you want to see the patch notes for yourself, you could find that in the description down below. So we'll just go ahead and start off at the top, the very first thing. And there's a lot of PvE stuff as well in here, mainly relating to the Ring City. So the first one is reduced damage of light arrows fired by the angels. So this is something I don't really agree with. I fucking loved the way it was in the game when I played it, because one of the comparisons that I made to it is it was kind of like Saving Private Ryan. And it's kind of weird to say for Dark Souls because you're basically going from cover to cover because you know that there's this thing in the air that's like a fucking tank and that is going to kill you in 1 second if you let it. And I think it makes that first area really damn difficult, and I think it should be that way. I think it's a hellhole. It's meant to be really damn bad. The entire area, a giant swamp of toxic poison, this disgusting humanity creature, the heralds. They're not called heralds. I call them heralds because that's the name of their weapons, so I thought it seemed fitting. But it's meant to be this crazy hellhole, and they kind of nerfed it. I'm not entirely sure how much they nerfed it by, but I'm guessing it's something that, you know, a lot of people were complaining about, because obviously in higher New Game Pluses, you're gonna get destroyed by it just insanely fast. But I like the way it was. I think it was pretty awesome having that just extra obstacle. And you could kill them anyway, so it's not like they're there forever. But, you know, it's nothing huge. The second one is pretty good though, and I like this one. It's a good workaround for the angels. And that is the spell Hidden Body is now gonna be effective against the angels. Meaning you can use your Hidden Body and you're not gonna be able to be seen by them. So maybe they won't even shoot you at all. Because like I said, by the time that I'm doing this, the patch is not out yet. If I do see a video where it has, you know, the percentages exactly of how much things are getting buffed and nerfed, I'll link that in the description. So you might see that in there if I find one myself. Alright, so these next couple of, like, 3 are ones that I do not agree with at all. Like, I think it was fucking awesome the way it was. And these are all about the Spears of the Church Covenant. The new covenant that lets you become a boss in other people's worlds. I made a video on it with Homeless Smo. You can check that out in the description if you want, or you can go to my channel and check it out. So the first one is reduced damage for homing spears released from Spears of the Church. So that's basically the thing that happens on its own. You get the like 4 or 5 little orbs above your head, kind of like a homing crystal soul mass, except you don't control that. It just happens on its own. And now those are going to end up doing less damage. That one's alright. It's not that bad, because those did do a shit ton of damage. Next up we have reduced the amount of bonus absorption the Spear of the Church receives during 1v2s, 1v3s, and 1v4s. 1v1s are going to be unaffected. So this is basically nerfing you. I guess they're nerfing a boss now, but like I said, I don't exactly know how much of a drop this is going to be at the moment. If you're up against 4 people, a Ultra Greatsword is going to do like 100 damage to you. You're supposed to be a boss. You're supposed to be something people are scared of. If fucking Ultra Greatsword did 600 damage to you and you have your regular old like 1400 health, it's just going to be another gank. It's not supposed to be something like, oh yeah, this is just another invader that we're going to all gank and kill in 2 seconds. So this is very disappointing to me. I think that they should have just left this the way it is. I think pretty much everyone enjoys it. Some people think it's really fucking hard. And I will agree, if you're up against one dude while you're with 4 people, it is pretty hard. So just taking 1 or 2 is not that hard then. And I mean, of course, that is the case only if you get somebody who knows what they're doing. If you get just some random dude who's trying it for the first time and is maybe not that experienced in PvP, even 4v1, the guy who's really damn powerful is most likely gonna die fairly quickly. Next one we have is reduce the amount of HP Church Guardian has during 1v1s. All the other ones are unaffected. So I believe the Church Guardian is the, the Painting Guardian, which I guess that is just making it more difficult for the Spear of the Church Invader, for the boss. But I guess for a 1v1, I think like he always has like near 2,000 health, just this fucking Painting Guardian guy. And I mean, for the most part, you could very easily destroy the little guy. He's skinny as shit. You could one combo him with the Ring Knight paired Greatswords, which is kind of weird for a boss fight. It should be the other way around, in my opinion. But definitely let me know what you guys think. Do you think these Spear the Church nerfs are justified? Do you think it should be more difficult? Because I know I had people in my video, the Spear Church video that I made with Homeless Mo, say that they were having a really hard time with this boss fight. And I had the complete opposite experience. I just destroyed the guy that I ran into. I didn't even think it was an actual person. I thought it was an NPC on my part. So everybody has different experiences, but I would love to hear your opinion. And now we get into some of the patches and nerfs for weapons and infusions and stuff like that. So first up, we have increased damage of scaling of simple, crystal, fire, chaos, lightning, dark, deep, and blessed infusions. This is fantastic. I'm glad they're finally doing this. There are some weapons that have great scaling for, you know, stuff like blast and dark and shit like that, but it's almost never worth it to actually infuse it with like a blessed gem or a dark gem or something like that, because most of the time you're just going to be getting so much lower damage than you would if you just used a resin. So I'm excited to see how much of a significant increase, because, you know, we did get a buff for poison and bleed for those infusions, and there wasn't a huge increase. Like, there was a little bit for mainly poison. I think it was like 20 damage per tick or something like that whenever you poison somebody, and it's fairly fast. Next up, we have the increased damage for raw infusions, which I guess that's pretty good. Not a lot of people use raw infusions. The only time people really do raw infusions is very early on for like lower soul levels and stuff like that. That's the only time you ever see raw infusions anymore. Then we have reduced damage and scaling of heavy infusions at lower weapon levels. You know, like a Greatsword plus 5 is not going to have the same amount of scaling as a Greatsword plus 10 or plus 9 and 8 and shit like that. Although, there's not a lot of people, to be honest, that have lower weapon levels anymore. Increased scaling of sharp infusion and increased damage gain at high levels of dexterity. This one was surprising to me. I did not expect to see a buff to dexterity and sharp infusions. You know, there are some that get S scaling and sharp, and dexterity itself, I would say, is already pretty good. I don't exactly know where this came from or what weapon motivated a buff to dexterity. Maybe it was the katanas? I don't know. Because the katanas, like, you'll get S scaling on some of them, but really low damage. So this is very interesting. I cannot wait to see how much of an increase that's going to be, because it does say only high levels. So you're not going to be getting a significant amount of more damage at like 20 dex. You know, it's going to be up there in like 40s and 50s and stuff like that. Reduced scaling of heavy infusions on lighter weapons. So basically, like, you're not going to get an S scaling on something like the Millwood Battle Axe, but I guess it is unaffected for the bigger weapons. So Ultra Great Swords, Great Axes, Great Hammers, and stuff like that. And man, these next couple of nerfs are pretty much what everyone's been screaming about for the past couple of weeks. First up, reduced damage of exile Greatsword. Already, I bet people are going, yes, fucking finally. Because for a while, that thing has been pretty damn strong. Maybe one of the strongest weapons. It went from like mid-tier, maybe low top tier, to just right to the top. Of course, before the next weapon. Reduced damage for L1 or left bumper attacks and increased stamina consumption for the same attacks, L1 or left bumper attacks. And the weapon art Ember, I didn't even know that's what it was fucking called, of the Ringed Knight paired Greatswords. So pretty much for the past couple of days, it actually worked. All the screaming from the community finally worked on these weapons being nerfed. Now, to be honest, the damage was a bit high. I don't know how much of a significant decrease in damage that's going to be, but I think the reason that stacks up so much is because it combos all the way, and the hitboxes are so fucking broken for it. I don't ever get mad at weapons, and these are definitely weapons that I've never gotten mad at while playing. I've gotten one combo, just one touch of death, and then that was it. I was fucking dead, 1200 HP gone. But I've always seen it as, oh, okay, I probably did something wrong, and that was my fault that I died with one combo. And then also, it doesn't help that the hitbox for the regular left bumper attack, the charge with the 2 vacuums, is kind of a little bit wonky. Like, you'll hit somebody just way further away than you should have, and there's no fucking way you should have hit somebody with it. I'm glad that's getting an increase in stamina consumption. It definitely needed it. It took up way less stamina than it should have with the regular left bumper attacks. And same goes for the weapon art. But to be honest, the weapon art, I think it's just, it's one of those things that it should be a big bomb. Like, if you hit somebody with the first hit and they're up close, most of the time you're going to hit them for the entire thing. But it is going to do less damage, and it's going to, you know, take up more stamina now. Most of the time you hit people for like 800 or 900 with the full weapon art. So I'm guessing it's going to land around the 600, 700 area. Fixed a bug where the weapon art wind wheel of the split leaf greatsword was applying more status effects than intended. Fixed a bug where a fully charged right trigger attack with the profane greatsword and black knight greatsword were not consuming additional stamina. Again, not really anything bad. Fixed a bug where the weapon art of Preacher's right arm would combo for more hits than intended. So this is very interesting because I don't think I've ever been hit, or nobody's ever really tried this. I didn't even know this shit existed, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if you're hitting people for like 9 fucking hits in a row with this thing, and it's just ridiculously insane, but nobody noticed it because nobody uses it. And then the next one is one that was huge for a couple of days and then it just kind of died off and you don't even hear anybody talking about it, especially after the new ring paired greatswords. Fixed a bug where the weapon art of Painting Guardian's curved sword would combo for more hits than intended. Yeah, they fixed the infinite combo. If you guys remember that video that I made, and that pretty much everyone made that day, there was a new infinite combo where all you did was press left trigger, and then that was the entire combo. That's all you had to do, and then they were dead in about a minute because that shit did such low damage. And then the last one we see here is increased damage of toxic dealt by players, but reduced the penalty to stamina regeneration. But it does look like that's it. There's no more to it. There are some that I agree with, you know, the stamina consumption for the ring knight paired greatswords. That was pretty bad, and I'm glad that's getting patched. The heavy infusions for the lighter weapons, I guess it's alright. It kind of sucks for, you know, smaller weapons that are also really good for heavy infusions. The scaling for Dexterity is going to be interesting. I wonder how that's going to play out here. I'm guessing people are going to cry again and say that it's too OP. People already think Dex is OP, so that's just going to get even louder than it is now. And everything about PvE, I think that should have just stayed the way it was with the angels. I agree with the hidden body, I like that. I guess we'll have to wait to see until we get actual percentages and how much stuff is getting nerfed and buffed. So either way, yeah, this was way longer than I intended it to be. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and made it all this way through, a like is really appreciated. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace, everybody.